Member for Mount Waverley.
Thank you, Acting Speaker. And I rise also with delight to speak about the Public Health and Wellbeing Amendment Quarantine Fees Bill 2020. And it is great to hear, fantastic to hear, the member opposite that we're all working together, because I wasn't sure. But it's good.
It's new news.
I am not arguing with you. That's good to know, because I agree also with the Shadow Treasurer who said we all want this to work. And we do. Now, can I firstly thank the Minister for Police and Emergency Services for her work on this bill today, but also in the significant preparation for what is the reset of our hotel quarantine. And it is not only her and her work, but her department and everyone connected with that, but also corrections, police, the ADF, security guards, health workers at the Alfred, health workers around our state, aged care workers, health workers who did shifts for aged care workers, transport workers, our staff at supermarkets. We've all worked to get this state currently 40 days clear of this virus. And it's been a long road, and it's been a hard road. And yes, as the member for Yan Yean aptly stated earlier, people are fallible, nothing is perfect, and things that we have learnt over those hard times will be put into practice now. And I agree with the members opposite and members on this side that we are all doing our very best, every one of the 6 million Victorians, to make sure, as best we can, that we don't get a couple of German returned travellers slipping through at Sydney Airport. Now, I'm not blaming the people at Sydney Airport for that happening. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not blaming anyone. These things, unfortunately, have a chance of happening. And our job is to do the very best we can to minimise that chance. But I think, as we say, this year has been very hard, and it has on all of us as Victorians and Australians and the world. And I've mentioned before in this House that I remember first hearing about this virus back on, I think it was January 30, thereabouts. So we're talking about 10 months ago. And a gentleman from Wuhan had visited a restaurant 4 doors down from my office with the coronavirus. Now, I was having a look at the Channel 7 report of that just earlier today, and I won't quote it verbatim, but it stated the facts that this gentleman had gone to this particular restaurant, that he'd been found later to have the virus. He didn't know he had it at the time, so again, it wasn't his fault. He'd been told later, yep, you've got it, there's a problem. So he had to quarantine himself, and at that stage, we didn't know enough about it. There was no quarantine at any federal level or state level or anything, apart from please stay home. And he and his family, quarantined, did the right thing. Now, at that stage, this was new. We didn't understand. The Channel 7 report at the time says, well, with pretty much coughing and sneezing probably does it, maybe from surfaces, but they weren't sure. And that was coming, I think, from New South Wales Health at the time, that statement. I think we now know that it's not just coughing and sneezing, but breathing, singing, possible droplets. I'm no epidemiologist, but I'm happy to wear a mask if there's an off chance that it means I don't spread it to anyone. Just if I get it and don't know, I'm happy to do it. And I think we all are. And the member from South West said that you're happy to do those things too. I think we all are. We're all on board to protect our community. And the one of the best things I've seen about the state of Victoria in the last number of months is that the community is on board to protect each other. We have banded together to protect a vulnerable section of our community, and we've gone through a lot of hardship to do it. And yes, people are unhappy about certain aspects, but we did it. And when I talk to people now, there is pride in that. And when we look overseas and we see, and without judging any other country, but we see the things that were too hard, and we see the steps that were too far, and the political will that couldn't be summoned, and in this state, we did it. And now we will do our very best to keep it. And you know what? Maybe we are having a bill today that we're going to work out the accounting. And we're going to do that today. And then maybe someone will get an invoice in January instead of in 2 weeks. Well, that's not a particular surprise for me. People do, you get services all the time, you get invoices later. Would it be easier, not easier if they got it straight away? Maybe. Does it matter? I wouldn't have thought so. I think the most important thing is we have a quarantine system that's ready and we're bringing people back as of yesterday. Because we have thousands of people waiting, and the very idea which I heard on the weekend that because of a billing issue we should keep people at home, overseas longer, well, I can't go along with that. So there are others who want to speak on this bill, and I do quickly want to say one thing that has come up during this whole pandemic, and that this government has not only always probably been alerted to, but now we see a real reason of what we have to do. We have to do something substantial, is the issue of insecure work. I remember for Caulfield in his debate earlier mentioned that airline workers are going back to work, and that's a good thing. Currently we have a national airline that is, at the same time that they have taken a whole heap of money from the federal government, and we've had JobKeeper and JobSeeker, which is very good things, they are laying off people to other companies and then going to have those people basically apply for their jobs back. Now, yes, we've got airlines going back to work, and yes, we've had an economic dent, and our budget, which I'll speak on later, is doing significant work to rebuild from that. But I just say to the Qantas board, now is not the time. You are the Australian airline, and we want to back you, and we will use you, we will fly on you, we will all do that. But this government is backing Victorians, we're investing in Victorians, and I ask the Qantas board directly, back our workers and protect our workers and invest in our workers, and it will come back to you tenfold. I commend the bill to the House.